can you give us your impressions of the win over Leicester last Saturday and the fact that it's earned you the right to play in a semi-final against a team like Toulouse in front of your own fans this coming weekend?
Yeah, it was obviously, it was a very tough weekend. Leicester are a quality side. That first half we played particularly well and built a decent lead through playing good clinical rugby, and I think in the second half we probably let ourselves down. We didn't exit well enough. We gave them life, gave the crowd life, and made it hard for ourselves. But I mean, the resolve in the team, the defensive efforts that we put in. James Ryan had a few massive key steals. The scrum was going a bit topsy-turvy, but we managed to come out on top later on in the game, and we closed out a very very tough game in very tough conditions. So we're happy and we're looking forward to Toulouse this weekend.
And you're playing a team who will have no fear coming to Ireland to play an away match in a knockout stage of a competition, because they did it last weekend. They beat Ulster recently, and they're just used to. I mean, they're a real cup, sort of a cup final winning team, aren't they?
They're a championship side, that's for sure. I mean, they hold they're the current champions, the current double champions, and they're a team that play a beautiful game of rugby. So. On top of all that, we know if we can get our stuff right and try and limit their opportunities, we can go a long way. We weren't clinical enough in that second half against Leicester, and I think if we give Toulouse those opportunities, we'll be on the back burner for most of the game. So, but it's all about us and what we can do. Obviously, they have a lot of very very notable individuals that we need to keep on red alert for, but. Mate, that's the part of the game. You're into knockout footy. It's amazing to be at home, especially after, obviously, Montpellier earlier on in the year, losing out on that 5 points, to still manage to get a home semi-final and be able to repay, hopefully we get a sold-out crowd. There's 25,000 tickets already sold. So that travelling support that we also had in Leicester didn't go unrecognised, coming off the bus and seeing so many fans and flags and people cheering us on as we walked into that stadium. It was amazing. So if we can get half of that sort of passion this weekend at the Aviva, it'll go a long way.
And I mean, that's something that the players are acutely conscious of, isn't it? The fact that the fans turn out home or away, and they'll part with their hard-earned money again this weekend to create a bit of a cauldron at the Aviva Stadium. Yeah,
that's the plan. It was actually, it's goosebumps sort of thing that puts the hairs on your neck, makes them stand up. So it was it was something like you see it at the Aviva every now and then. The hundreds and hundreds of people standing as the bus turns up, but. Jeepers, we're in Welford Road, and there was just the same amount of people. It was the same people as well, the people who turn up in the rain, snow, or the sunshine. So it's amazing to have that support and to be able to repay them with a home semi-final. We're going to need them for the full 80, hopefully only 80 minutes this weekend.
Cheers, Ben. Enjoy the week.
Thank you.
Hi, James. Aisling here from Off the Ball. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So yeah, it's going to be a huge semi-final. They're 5-time champions, they're current top 14 champions, and they've a lot of lads who represented France and who are Grand Slam champions as well. So it's a massive challenge.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Some resume, I guess. Man, they've got some. I mean, like you said, Grand Slam. They pipped us obviously over in France for that, and they're coming off the back of, like you said, previous champion. They're the current Champions Cup holders. They won the top 14 last year. And it's a huge challenge, but something we're definitely looking forward to. I know they knocked over Ulster up there to book their place in the quarters, and then just pipped Munster in the weekend. So hopefully we can stop them in the tracks from beating all the Irish boys up. Yeah.
And as a team, you've done a lot of hard work to get to this point. A really competitive group. I'm sure that's what you want within a winning group. Does that bring a sense of pressure as well to always want to make the starting team?
Yeah, I mean, there's only 23 boys who get to play, on the Saturday, but there's a squad of 40 odd who are definitely competing. There's some very, very good players who don't get to play week in, week out. So, this team, a serious point of difference is that competitiveness from Monday to Friday. It doesn't matter who's lucky enough to wear the jersey on a Saturday. From Monday to Friday, if you're picked or you're not picked, you're doing work to make sure that the boys who are playing are prepped to the best of their abilities. So it's an absolute privilege to have gone away to Leicester and come away with a win. But I know that this week is, the intensity's through the roof again.
Brilliant, James. Thanks so much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Hi James, it's Bernard here in Virgin Media. How are things?
Good, thank you. How are you?
All good. James, Leinster, Toulouse, jam-packed Aviva Stadium. Is this as big as it gets in European club rugby?
I mean, in any sort of club rugby, I think this is as big as it gets, They've got 5 stars on the chest. That's something that we've been striving for a few years. They're the current holders, the current Pro 14 champions, like we said. To win this title, you've got to beat the best. Fortunately, we're playing the best at home this week, so everything, the ball's in our court. Our home fans will turn up in droves, I'm sure. Dublin will definitely turn it on, and we know if we can put in a clinical performance, we can put our best foot forward come Saturday, and that's what we're planning to do.
How much of an incentive is that? You spoke a good bit there about how good Toulouse are, I suppose. Look, they're 5-time winners of this competition, but you guys are very close to knocking them off their perch and also, equaling their record. Is that a massive motivation?
I think the motivation in this group probably comes from within this group. We've got so many good players. We're so lucky here to have the players that we do. It's really up to us. We know how good Toulouse are. We know the threats that they pose. But at the end of the day, we know if we can get our stuff right, then that's going to go a long way. We've got, from 1 to 8, from 9 to 15, from 16 to 23, there's international caps in the hundreds. So, mate, if we can turn up and make sure we can impose our game, hopefully they don't get in a mood, in that Toulouse mood that they've shown throughout the years. We're focused predominantly on us and making sure we can get our stuff right, and then the score will hopefully take care of itself.
On that, I suppose, and getting your own stuff right, you mentioned room for improvement. Do you feel Leinster need to deliver their best performance of the season at the Aviva this weekend?
100%. Every game you're striving for that complete performance. You never really get it, and this Saturday is something that we need to make sure that we do, because any sniff of a chance, any repeated defensive sets against Toulouse, how good they can be on attack with ball in hand. So, mate, we're focused on us defensively, making sure we get it right. We put in a good defensive performance, but unfortunately we were poor in execution in terms of our exits, so we compounded defensive sets on top of defensive sets. We know that with an attacking side like Toulouse, that's going to be a different beast, and mate, hopefully we're not as hopefully we're more clinical this weekend.
Final one for me. I think it's been 3 years since Leinster played in a European final. Has it been too long since Leinster played in the final?
I think so, yeah. The sides that we have lost to have been very, very good sides, and on those days they were definitely better than us. But we know on our day, if we can get all our ducks in a row, cross our T's and dot our I's, there's no reason as to why we can't be the team at the end of the season to have that cup. So that's the plan. Toulouse are an amazing side, and we'll turn up Saturday and put our best foot forward.
Best of luck, go well. Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Hey James, how are you?
Benty Senior, how are you?
Have you done any place kicking, or is there any plan this week? Because we saw obviously what happened at the end of the Munster match, and you don't know who's going to be on the field.
Yeah.
So have you done place kicking? Is your name put forward in the event?
Yeah, I did place kick in school, I was place kicking a lot, club rugby back in New Zealand. I haven't place kicked a lot, of recent times for obvious reasons. You've got the Sextons, the Burns, the Frawleys, Gary Ringrose. There's a long list. So, but if 100 minutes of footy is played and I'm still standing, then I think I can nudge them over from in front. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't come to that. I don't think any team wants another 100 minutes of rugby. I know the drama is amazing for the spectator, but jeepers, when I heard that game went to 100 minutes, I was jeepers. I wouldn't want to play 100 minutes of footy. 80 minutes is well and truly enough.
Yeah, that's enough for any man. Just tell me, the last time you played Toulouse in the Aviva, it was kind of a funny game. I'm not sure. From my impression was that they didn't come off devastated. They had just got a score back to 17-9. Jerome Kano, who's one of their best players, he went off as if they were holding him for a big top 14 match the week after. What's your memories of that game? And I mean, do you think you'll face a Toulouse with a different attitude this week, in that they were just coming back from a kind of a long slump? It was a long time since they had won the top 14. They went on to win it that year. But what's your memories of that game?
It was a highly contested game, beautiful day at the Aviva. It was topsy-turvy, but I think we got the better of them. We worked them well around the corner a few times, and we were very clinical at the ruck and at our set piece, and that went a long way. Like I said, I feel like if we can get our stuff right, then we'll put our best foot forward. When we come unstuck is when we don't get things like the ruck right and our set piece isn't functioning as well. And then funnily enough, those two worked well in the weekend and we just couldn't exit off the back of it as well. So those are things that we worked on, and here's hoping that we don't give them too much easy ball, because like I said earlier, they're an amazing attacking side.